Hello everybody and welcome to today's show. Oh my gosh, it's happy Halloween. May your celebrations be so good, so great. I'm so excited. It's gonna be such a great night. It's gonna be such a great day. I don't know exactly, it takes some time to get these edited and sent out, but it'll be done when it's done. So regardless of when it does get sent to you, enjoy the day. Enjoy your celebrations on Halloween. My name, for people who have never been here before, welcome. And if you are returning, also welcome. Hello, my name is Valkyria Verder. It's good to have you here. Thank you so much for coming in to check it out. We're looking at today's week. We're looking at the week of this week's astrology, November 1st through the 9th. Before we get into specific transits, I actually have a lot of updates. I have like several different updates. I'm gonna try to kind of rapid fire them. I don't want to spend too long with the introduction. So that being said, let's get into it. Today is my birthday. So if you're here, thank you so much for celebrating with me. Thank you so much for the support. I just want to take a moment. This is my first update. I just want to take a moment to say thank you. To say thank you to everyone who has supported me. All the listeners over the previous year, everyone who supports me on my TikTok and the blog and YouTube, and anybody who has been around to support me. I give my gratitude, love, and reverence to you because there are things I have been going through in my personal life that I don't ever talk about on the internet, and my life has been horrendously hard for several years now. And this is the first birthday in a long time that I actually feel like celebrating myself and actually feel like celebrating my life, in part due to the fact that there are all these really great things happening in my career and online, and just all of these really wonderful people that I've gotten to meet, and wonderful people who support me, and wonderful people who meet me and greet me and tell me all of these incredible things about their life and their practice. And so thank you. That's really what I want to open today's show with, is just this big pouring out of gratitude. So thank you. And I'm grateful for you. And I'm grateful for each and every single one of you so much. Thank you. Oh my goodness. So that's my first update, is just thank you. Thank you so very much. My second update is, oh my gosh, it's Halloween. Have a wonderful celebration. I know I already said that, but that's the second update. Okay. Enjoy your celebrations. Enjoy them. Grateful for you. Enjoy your celebrations. So that's update number 2. Update number 3, we have a book publishing today. Apparently you and me. That's true. So because a lot of the stuff that I learn in my squeaky chair, a lot of the stuff that I learn in my practice is in part due to my space on the internet and the spaces I hold on the internet. So the book that publishes today, which I'm super excited to share with you, is Book of Spells 2, Poetry for the Warrior Witch. There is a Book of Spells 1, Poetry to Educate the Witch, and the beginning parts of these books, I write them from Halloween to Halloween, the witch's year. I take 1 year to write every book, and then I take the final couple months of that year, pretty much from what month would that be? September? August? I take August and September to start getting them together for publication, but this year's book is about the warrior witch. It's fighting through what you're going through, getting out of it, getting to a new place, really what is worth fighting for. And so what I do with those books is really just every time because I make a lot of offerings in my practice, and there's a lot of wisdom that comes through that I don't necessarily get to share in the internet spaces. And so anything that I receive within my wisdoms where I'm I need to write that down, that's what I put in the books. So the beginning part of the books is a lot of those just here's a spelling, and I needed to integrate this spelling for myself. So then it gets written down on the page, and it's pages and pages and pages of that. And then the latter half of the book is more poetry stories. They're story form poetry stuff, experiences I've been through. It's more personal at the end of the book, and that's kind of the format of both of the books. There's more personal stories in the first book, and in the second book there's a lot more of the grounded wisdom stuff, but that's both of them. So I'll put links down below. There'll be a paperback version available of the the second one, the one that's publishing today. Yep. There will be a paperback of that one available very soon. I don't know when that one's gonna come out paperback, but it will come out paperback eventually. It's hardcover right now, or you can get the ebook on my website. Super cool. Thanks so much. Super duper cool. So that's update number 3. Update number 4, like I said, we have a couple more but we're gonna stick through it. If you're looking for more specific information about the new moons, because here on this podcast we go over very general information about each of the transits or moon phases that's happening. Beautiful, grateful for that. And also, as myself, someone who is a witch and has a practice, I look at like really specifically what's aspecting on those new moon days, what's going on, how is that going to influence my ritual space. And the new moon is a very sacred, dark place of like, I don't really want a whole bunch of other people on a personal level in that practice or in that space. For me, it's not a big shared place unless I'm creating content like I am today on the new moon day for you. Beautiful. Grateful for that. However, because when I thought of this earlier in the month, like I've been feeling called to do something extra, there's another thing, do something extra. And so I was sitting and thinking about it. And originally what I was going to do is create rituals for people to then take part in and be able to kind of explain what that ritual was and like how I was doing it while I was doing it kind of thing. And there was this idea, but it just didn't really come together through October. I was like, I know that I'm going to have the idea. I know I'm going to have the answer by Halloween to be able to do that, but it just didn't come together the way that I thought it was going to. So instead of holding ritual for people, what I'm doing is offering the very in-depth sort of aspect regards and just going further into the astrology of the new moon, way more in depth, like that moon specifically, so that you know how to kind of set up that next moon cycle for yourself, because what's done on the new moon is woven into the entire next cycle. So I really wanted to focus on that moon specifically. So for the exclusive subscribers, the paid subscribers who are on my blog, those are the people who receive that information. And if you've signed up over the previous couple days, thank you so much for that support. So good. Update, what was that? Update number 4. So if you want more information, that's available. It's $5 a month, $55 a year, or if you want to become a founding member, it's $333. That's it, total. You become a member of the will. There's also a bunch of blogs at the beginning of the blog, like when I first started a year and a half ago writing that blog, that are only for exclusive subscribers. So that is available. And that kind of leads me into update number 5. So many, oh my goodness. I think this might be the final one. What a day. This might be the final one. Update number 5. Update number 5 is another thing that I'm starting for that exclusive subscriber space. So I guess you could call this 4.2. Update 4.2. Sure. This specific update has not happened yet, but is coming to our space, and I'm very excited to announce this. I often talk about, as someone in my personal chart who is ruled by Saturn and Scorpio, that those are like my major spaces within my personal placements. I do a lot of work with contracts, the ancestors, bindings, and that sort of energy, power exchanges, and just that sort of magic. It's the sort of magic that with Scorpio, how do I explain this without getting like flagged? There is a sort of magic that is not readily available on the internet because of censorship reasons. Like a lot of the platforms that are content, more mainstream content, don't allow practitioners to talk about this sort of magic or these different sorts of magic that have to do with our body and the ancestors. And there's certain practices that just are not readily available because of safety, censorship sort of things, community guidelines, things like that. And I'm totally for that. Have rules, okay? That's a part of contractual bindings, is rules and regards to that. Beautiful, grateful for it. However, the blog space that I run, they're very, very lenient. They're basically like, go educate as long as you are not like doing anything that is super harmful to people. They're pretty much going to let you relate to people, is what I figured out through their community guidelines. So one of the things that I am bringing, because there is now that space that is available for this, I've just kind of put the dots together recently, like, oh, I could actually do this. So I'm going to, because people keep asking about, where do we learn about contractual bindings? Where do we learn about this ancestral magic? And the way that I learned was maybe not the best, very safe. The way that I learned was not very safe. And I've realized that recently. There are more safe ways to learn about the darker, I'm going to call them darker, quote unquote, darker forms of magic. Very powerful, also more dangerous forms of magic too. Like that, there's a reason that it's not readily available on the internet everywhere all the time, you know? So there's many reasons for that. But moving into that space, if you are someone who is interested in that and wants to learn about it and doesn't have really anyone to learn about that sort of magic from in your life, I am going to be, it's going to be a slow roll. This is not something that I'm going to be like, just like pushing out a lot of content, because it's something that needs to be, in my opinion, moved slower with. It's not something that you should rush into, but I am going to be posting about that sort of magic for, again, that exclusive subscriber space on the blog. And the reason that it's only going to be made available to the exclusive subscribers is because this sort of magic, or practicing those more dangerous, sort of risky spaces with magic, does come with a price. It comes with many prices, actually, and honestly, it comes with many prices. And so for that to be revered in your practice, also, I'm gonna put that information behind a paywall just to keep the order of this magic does come for a price. So if you're going to practice it, just remember that. Also, as like a safety thing, there's probably people on that blog space who, I don't want to assume anything, but like you might not be interested in it, and maybe you don't want to see it. So if it's behind a wall, you don't have to see it. So there's that too. Starting in that series, or just starting in that work, I'm going to be, like I said, I'm going to start moving slow. I'm going to start more with like protective work, and protective work, kind of like how to get yourself set up for a practice that is safe and things to look for. So that will be coming through sometime in November. I'm not exactly sure when that's going to start, how it's going to start, where it's going to start, but I know that it will be starting soon. So here's my announcement. 4.2, 4.5, the update. Cool. And I think that's it. Now let's talk about it. So we open up the month. Oh my gosh. Oh my, everything's about to change, guys. Everything. Let me hold on. I'm gonna hold your hand. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this. Everything's gonna change this month. Oh, wow. You know what you want? You know what you want? Have you signed up for what you want? Do you think about it? Go back to the new moon on Libra, the Libra new moon that was October 2nd. Check out kind of what was going on. One of the things I recommended for that new moon was to write a contract with yourself. What do you want? How do you want it? What is it that you're looking for? The reason I say that is because of we're not going to get super in depth on those placements, but Venus was ruled in Scorpio. Venus was in Scorpio ruling that Libra eclipse, which means that we have this like, what power do I want? What power do I want to receive? What power do I want to offer? What is the power exchange? Venus in Scorpio is the process of power being exchanged. And so there's a lot more to it than that, but like on a very simplified version, Venus in Scorpio is anything that is exchanged also offers power. That's true. So because of that, and this new moon being in Scorpio, we have now this kind of like resurgence. We're getting like recharged, ready, prepared. We've learned a lot over the previous month. There's a lot that changed over the previous month. A lot was integrated. Okay, that was an eclipse that happened earlier in October. So now with the new moon in Scorpio, this is a moon about power. Hello, moon about power, a moon about power. Yes, this is a moon that is about power. We are working with power. We're asking for power and understanding what power you want. What power do you want to sit in? What power do you want to be in again? It could be a power that you used to have that you haven't had in a long time. Maybe you're calling your power back to you. What is it about power that's calling to you? And one thing about Scorpio that I always think is very interesting is that one of the studies of Scorpio is literally the study of our will. It's the study of our decisions. What are you doing? How are you doing it? Why are you doing it? Where are you doing it? With who are you doing it? Did you do anything? Did you not do anything? Did you make a decision that was true for you, or did you decide something else? Scorpio, oh my God, Scorpio is exhausting. Even just talking about that, my heart, that's a lot, dude. That's a lot. It's a lot. Scorpio work is a lot of work, to be honest with you. It's a lot of work. It's a lot. Because you got to go down to the underworld, you got to integrate, you got to find the riches, and then you got to come back up to the surface so that you can walk in the real world, quote unquote real world. Okay, now the underworld is part of the real world too, but also, it's like going into the mines and being like, oh, here's this awesome gem, but then you have to come up to the surface to cut the gem and set it in like jewelry, okay? It becomes even more valuable when you get to the surface. So come the full moon, we're probably gonna have a surfacing moment with the riches that we're looking for on this new moon, okay? The reason I say that everything is about to change, I kind of went over that in the previous, the previous episode about just like big picture stuff. Here's some big picture. We didn't have a lot going on last week about, other than the moon cycle, there wasn't a lot of stuff going on with the conjunctions and transits and things. It was really just the moon. So we looked at some bigger picture stuff, but This is the moon cycle that ushers in the change that sets us up for a while, okay? We had the moon in Libra. That was an eclipse. Tied to an eclipse means it's tied to an 18.5-year cycle. That's big, powerful magic too. This cycle, this is where things start to get a little tricky. Tricky maybe not be the right word. It's like, now's the time to be on your wits. Now's the time not to quit. It's a time to be on your wits. It's a time to, pardon my language, I might beep this out. I don't know how to do that in editing yet, but I'll figure it out. This is a time to tell people to off. That's what this is. This is a time to tell people to mind their business, okay? You don't need to know. Leave me be. I'm on my own path. I'm on my own trajectory. Why do you want to be around me? Oh, you want my time? Capricorn was one of the rulers of time. That's where Pluto still is, ruling over this new moon. Oh, you want my time? You want my energy? You want my space? You want me? No, I think not. We're gonna stay on the path that's just for the we that is me. Thank you very much. I'm staying on the path that's just for me. And how you choose, that's my choice. Again, Scorpio, the alterations of decisions and how that works for you and your discernment, that's true. But for me, that's what I'm working in. So what is it that you really want for this moon cycle? Because this is the moon cycle where change is ushered in. Pluto is moving out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. Saturn is going direct. What else is going on? We have Mars moving into Leo this week, which is another thing we're going to be going over in the podcast. Crazy, 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 crazy. Is there anything else? Oh, and we have a Mercury retrograde later this month, and the shadow period starts in this moon cycle. It is literally, what? And Venus enters Capricorn. And we're going to have a moon conjunct Pluto in Capricorn this week. There's just a lot of power grabs. Power, this is my power, I'm standing in it. This is my power, this is what I want, and I'm not gonna let you tell me otherwise. This is also a time to, like, we're at the end of Pluto being in Capricorn. We've had 16 years to figure out our power and take our seat. Figure out the power, take your seat, sit down. We have a meal to eat, and we're done. We're almost done eating. We're almost done. We're gonna get up. Are you one of the people who's clearing the table? Are you one of the people who was at the meal? Okay, everybody's in a different position, and no position is right or wrong. It was a choice. That's one of the things this moon cycle is going to remind us, is that where we have been has been a choice. Whether it has been our choice on an individual level, or it has been the choice of the ancestors who have come before us, because that's part of Capricorn and that is part of Scorpio. So we also have the moon that's going to be in Scorpio from November 1st to the 3rd. So for a couple of days, we're going to have this like really potent energy of just feeling powerful in our emotions, feeling powerful. The sun's in Scorpio, so like ourselves are feeling powerful, okay? One of the things that I'm being reminded of right now too, with Pluto being in Capricorn still and about to move into Aquarius, I made a video on TikTok about this earlier, but regardless of if you've double seen that already, I'm gonna mention it here. Right now, until Pluto moves out of Capricorn, one of the things to focus on is if you are looking to get out of a binding, bind yourself up in something else. And that may sound counterproductive or counterintuitive, but we're always bound to something. So if you can stand in your power and make your bindings stronger than a binding that you've already been in or that somebody else put you in, then when Pluto comes into Aquarius, then what is in the more powerful position will then be what is consecrated. Yes. And then what is outdated, the air of Aquarius will come through to be like, okay, well, we're done with this. We're picking it up. We're moving it on. So bind yourself up in something. There's a lot of different ways if you feel like it's necessary. Okay, like I said, we're always bound to something. So if one of the things I've learned, listen, I love the spirit of free. You hear me say it occasionally, thank you and love, truth, and free, or like, I'll write love, truth, and free. Love, truth, and free are like my solid spaces for me. One of the things I've learned about free is that we're always bound to something. We're always bound to something. And so if you're choosing what you are bound to, that is a version of free. However, if you're wrapped up in a binding that somebody else put you in, that you may not understand the darkness of, or the shadows of, or the things that you can't see, you may not understand the entirety of it. And you also may not have chosen those things, okay? So if you see those and you're like, well, I don't agree with that anymore, I don't really want that, then to break that bind yourself up in something new. Like and right now with Pluto and Capricorn, do that through your use of time. Your use of time. It's Saturn. Your spiritual time right now is how we are binding those things up. Sometimes we need to sit at the altar and do a binding work. Sometimes we need to bind up something in a meal and like put a whole bunch of ingredients together. Sometimes we need to bind up. There's so many different ways to bind, okay? There's so many different ways to bind. I'm not going to get into like a whole bunch of specifics. There's just so many. But right now, if you are working on standing in your power and being the most powerful, in the most powerful position and seat, do it with how you are using your time spiritually. If you are able to be consistent with your spiritual practices for the rest of the month, over the rest of the moon cycle, then you probably are able to bind yourself up in what it is that you need and disregard what other people planted in your garden, maybe without your permission. Get it out. I don't care if it's a flower. I don't care if it's a weed. You put it here and you didn't ask me. I want it gone. Thank you so much. But that's for me. So discern for you, because that's true. I don't even care I don't care if it's a flower. Actually, that's true. If that person, not you specifically, if that person didn't get direct permission from me, especially as a Scorpio and as someone who has a lot of Scorpio placement, if you didn't ask, get it out. Get it out, get it out, get it out. I have other things to plant there and you took up the space. Just because there's room doesn't mean you can be there. Just because there's room doesn't mean you can be there. Oh my goodness gracious. It's got me all up in arms. Hold on. Let me calm down, because thinking about that makes me want to fight a little bit. And honestly, the end of Pluto and Capricorn, if you gotta fight, go fight. If you gotta fight, go fight. That's one thing. When I still used to let the cat outside, okay, I don't anymore. He stays in. But when I used to let him out before I opened the door so that he could go out, I would tell him a whole bunch of things. And one of the things I would tell him, if you're gonna get in a fight, you better win. Don't come back to this house beaten up. If you're gonna get in a fight, win. So if you find yourself in a spirit of fighting, or you find yourself in a place where there is that sort of energy around you, like, it really does have me worked up, because like, that's part of the Scorpio story. Part of the Scorpio story is other people, other beings taking what they want from other people. That's really how I feel about it. That's really how I feel. For those of you who are listening and you didn't see me on the screen, okay, I got a little bit of a, I don't know what this is, warrior stance, guard. This is a guard. That's really what this is, a guard. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. You may not know me on a personal level, okay, but I will throw hands, so if I need to. I love love and light, but it is not all love and light over here. Don't plant your seeds in my garden unless you want those hands to appear. Keep it clear. I don't care. You could walk through. Sometimes I don't even want people to walk through the garden. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I don't even want people to walk through the garden. If you didn't even, sometimes people don't, like, you know what I mean? Because even just walking through, that's a whole other thing. Sometimes people don't even get to walk through. Leave them be. Kick them out. Kick them out. Kick them out. So anyways, right now, that's what we're working with that new moon in Scorpio. Again, more information for the exclusive subs if you're interested in checking that out. Oh my gosh. And in that I go over, there's a castle, there's a kite that's happening for that. There's a lot of like crazy, random, weird, like how is it orchestrated like this aspects that are happening for that moon. It's going to be really serious. I'm kind of I think that's part of why I'm up in like my fighting energy. Actually, it's a really serious new moon. It's a really serious. I try to be so quiet, but the chair was squeaky, whatever. Yeah, it's going to be really serious. It's a very, very serious new moon because we're at the end. We're the critical degree, 29 degrees. We're at the very end. We're at the very, 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 very end. We're at the very end and then we're done. We're at the very end and then we're done. And everything with Sun and Scorpio has to see the sun. So what have you done? What have others done to you? It's a serious moon. It's a serious, serious moon. And some power is worth it and some power is not. Some power is worth it and some is not. Are you asking for something that's worth it to you? Are you asking for power that's worth it? Do you know what you're going to have to do to earn that power? Sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to do to earn power. So if you're asking for power and you're not sure what it's going to cost you, don't be lost to it. Don't be lost to it. And what do I mean by that? If you're asking for power, sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to do to receive the power that we're asking for. And a lot of the times in those sorts of situations, it's things we don't want to do, and that's why we don't know about it. So if you have power that you're asking for and you're not sure what you're going to have to do for it to receive it, right now is a great time to close that door. If you know what you need to do for the power that you're asking for, say that you want a new job or more money or different relationships, or if there's a path and you can explain that path and you're like, yes, I understand, these are the steps, I get it now. If you can do that, probably there's a protective safetiness to it. But if you're looking at something, especially with Saturn in Pisces right now, if you're looking at something and you're saying, this is the power that I want, this is the power that I want, and oh goodness, how do I explain this? If you say this is the power that I want and you're not able to create the path forward, and there's like darkness or shadow or some sort of something that you can't see, that's what I mean. Don't lose yourself to it. Don't be lost to it. Because if you're lost to it, if you're lost to that power, it's going to cost you something, and you're probably going to want to cower. There's a reason you can't see how to earn that power. Sometimes we can see it very easily and sometimes we cannot. Sometimes walking through that darkness is worth it though. And so if you're going to walk through that darkness and you're not going to know what that power is going to cost you, and you're going to lose a part of yourself through that process. And so just have a sit down conversation. That's what I would do. That I'm going to give you the advice I would give myself in that moment. If you are walking into a power position, you're asking for something, you have no idea what it's going to cost you, and you're like, well, if I'm going to lose a part of myself, and you can have a conversation with you about, I'm all right with that, and this is the part of me that I'm willing to lose, and this is what I'm not willing to lose, and like, this is what I am going into this, and you're going to come out the other side probably a completely different person. Maybe not completely different. Maybe there's small alterations, okay? It depends on the person, the situation, the power proposition. That's also true. But if I were you, which I'm not, so do what you need to do also. But if I were you in that position, or I was walking into that, maybe that's better. If I was walking into a space where I can't see what it is that I am asking for, I'm asking for power, I don't do that anymore. It's a practice I used to practice, and it's offered me a lot, and it has cost me more than I ever thought. So just discern and learn. Discern and learn for yourself. Scorpio sometimes can get a little bit dangerous. And that's just a part of the world of Scorpio, though, is that there is danger involved. There is risk involved. Calculate the risk though, calculate the danger. And if you can't, then you're playing a betting game. That's what that is. It might not be a betting game. There might be a better name for your game of, or claim of what that is. But if you can't see it, let me not yap your ear in circles about that. We're moving on, okay? It's a serious new moon, so be serious about it. That's also true. All right. Moving on up, and actually while that's happening, during the moon that's in Scorpio, November 1st to the 3rd, on November 2nd, we have Mercury enter Sagittarius. We also have Venus in Sagittarius right now, and this is going to be an interesting switch up. I don't know exactly what this, it's an interesting, just the one, interesting switch up. It's an interesting switch up, because right now, we're about to get a big mirror in our face about words and about our communication and about our love styles, okay? You're like, what are they called? Your love language? Yeah, love languages, but it's love styles, not the love language, your love style. What's the style of your love? How do you style your love? Do you offer gifts to people? Do you give gifts to people? Do you offer your words to people? Do you offer silence and space? Do you give them like service, action? Are you doing the dishes for the people you love? What are you doing? How are you doing it? There's about to be a big mirror placed in front of us about that, because for a while now, Jupiter has been retrograde. When did that start? Jupiter retrograde started on, give me a date. You can do it. Where are you? Jupiter would retrograde in Gemini October 10th, 9th, 10th. It was like about that. So like almost a month now. By the end of this week, it'll be a month. That's crazy. So about a month now. We still have several months of Jupiter retrograde left to go. So like we're in it for a minute. We've been in it. We're gonna be in it. And Jupiter for most of that has been ruled by a Mercury in Scorpio. So we've had this like power conversation. We're like looking back. Oh my God, don't stress me out. We've been looking back at the previous like power conversations. Venus being in Sagittarius also. Did Venus move into Sagittarius? When was Venus into? Venus didn't enter Sagittarius until partway through. It was like a week after. That's true. All right, well, we're just going to talk about the Venus and Sagittarius portion. Words, oh my gosh, portion of that. Venus in Sagittarius has been pretty much in opposition to Jupiter and Gemini. Like those are opposite signs. They're on the opposite side of the chart. So we have this like really big conversation going on about love and our systems of love and our structures of love and our process of love and our styles of love. Venus is the feminine archetype in our astrology in relationships, and Jupiter is the masculine archetype in astrology in our relationships when we do relationship readings or relationship like offerings, bindings, anything like that. Like when you're looking at astrology, the easiest placements to look at, so if you wanted to go and read a chart, okay, the easiest placements to look at, the feminine archetype is going to be the Venus, and then the masculine archetype is going to be Jupiter. How are they related? What's going on? And since we've had Jupiter retrograde in Gemini ruling over Venus, okay, so the masculine Jupiter has had the upper, quote unquote, I'm going to call this quote unquote, there's a lot of ways that this could be phrased, okay, has had the upper hand or like the overarching power of Venus. Jupiter has been ruling over Venus. Jupiter retrograde has been ruling over Venus. So the masculine energy of Jupiter has been like, no. We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We're not going forward. I don't care about your aims. I don't care about where you want to go. We're looking backwards. We have to look backwards. What have we been doing? It's like a review of those masculine, feminine relationships. We're like coming into check right now, to check ourselves, to check what's going on, to check how we're feeling about those masculine, feminine relationships. It could be literally like your partnership if you have a partner. It could be your inner masculine, feminine relationships. It could be just friends, however those work for you, okay? But the masculine and the feminine, if you're able to relate those, beautiful. So we have that conversation going on. Jupiter says, no, let's look back. And because Mercury has been in Scorpio, it's been this big look back of like, well, this is the power that you used over me, or this is the power I offered to you, and this is how you expanded it. I offer this power to you and this is what you did with it. I didn't like that. I offered this power to you and this is what you did with it. And I agree with that. You offered this power to me and this is what I did with it. Do you like that? Do you agree with that? Bro, it's been that's been some hard conversations to have. It's been some good conversations, but it's been some hard conversations. We may have also been with Jupiter retrograde. There could have been exes coming back in, especially with all the Scorpio energy that we're in right now and the seriousness of Pluto and Capricorn. Just like ex-lovers and dealing with the past has been a theme. Dealing with the past of our relationships, especially our physically intimate relationships. It's Scorpio, okay? Oh God, can we be done? Can we be done? I would love to be done with that energy. We're about to be, okay? Because Mercury on November 2nd, everything's about to change. But I tell you, oh my goodness, November 2nd, Mercury moves into Sagittarius. So instead of us being like, oh, this is the power, here's the power dynamic, blah, blah, blah. Instead of that, it becomes, oh, this is what I wanted to offer you. What's the impact of that? This is what I wanted to give to you. What was the impact of that? This is what I received from you. Did you mean to send me that? Was that what your intention was? Or did you miss the mark? So instead of looking at this is the power that was offered and received and how it was given and how it was received again, and what did you do with it? What did they do with it? Those sorts of things. It'll be, this is the purpose that I offered to you. This is the aim that I offered to you. Did I hit my mark when I did that? And this could be, okay, so that's going to be more of like the healthy sort of conversation that's happening, because it could also turn into people who have aimed to take you. People who have aimed for you to be the purpose, or for you to be the thing. And that can cause a lot of hurt. That can cause a lot of pain. And on the flip side, it can also offer you a lot of gain. But that's going to be the more like hard and probably heartfelt. Not that the other part of this conversation is not going to be heartfelt, but it's just, it could be a harder conversation to have if it has been hard in those areas. So especially if you're someone who has any sort of like Jupiter, Venus, Sagittarius, Gemini in your chart that has to do with the 7th house, this is going to be a really big highlighted conversation for you about things that have happened in those previous relationships, or wherever Jupiter and Venus are in your chart too. That's also applicable. There's a lot of different spaces that those apply to, so apply as needed and necessary. That's also true, yeah. But what else about this? Because right after, so Mercury moves into Sagittarius, but then right after that, so that's November 2nd, but then November 4th through the 6th, we have a moon in Sagittarius. So we're going to have a couple of days before the moon enters Sagittarius and the moon is still in Scorpio, where we're really like in the darkness, where we may not understand, because Scorpio is the underworld. So we're still focused on power. We're still focused on those power dynamics, the exchanges, how were those exchanges happening, blood work, root work, ancestral work, things of that nature. But then when the moon enters Sagittarius, we're going to get an emotional viewpoint, because Mars is still going to be in Cancer too. So it's like the prioritization of those emotions. Were you actually prioritized in those relationships, or were you not prioritized in those relationships? If you were prioritized, how were you prioritized? Were your emotions prioritized? Was your Cancer placements in your chart, were those prioritized? Was your heart prioritized? Did you prioritize your heart? Did the other person prioritize their heart and their feelings? Or was it something completely different? Not every relationship is a heartfelt relationship. Sometimes people want more than a heartfelt connection. Sometimes they want your money. Sometimes they want your status. Sometimes they want a whole bunch of other stuff. So the reason all of this is getting dragged to the surface right now, though, okay, is so that we can let it go. It's Scorpio season. It's a death and rebirth season. So it's getting dragged to this, like I said, serious new moon. Serious. Is this a serious? We're in a serious time. I like to make light of it in my content because that's just who I am as a person. I like to be optimistic every once in a while. I like hope, okay? Don't hate on me because I like hope. I like your hope. I love your hope. We need a little hope in the world, you know? All right. But also still very serious. We could be hopeful and be serious at the same time. And sometimes the truth does hurt a little bit. So if you find yourself in these kind of like remembrances or things are getting dragged to the surface, it's Scorpio season, call your power back. It's Scorpio season, the sun is in Scorpio, call your power back. If you find yourself in those conversations, just remember to recenter your power, recenter yourself, especially since it's so relationship based. If you're able to, the sun being in Scorpio, and that's going to get easier later in the week when Mars enters Leo. So we're going to talk about that in a moment too, but beautiful. Recenter yourself. If you find yourself, that's so true. Look at that. Okay. Go you. If you find yourself, like, don't center the other person, especially if it has been hard relationships. Now, if you are applying this wisdom to an actual relationship that you are in now, that you have been in for a while, and there's like review stuff going on between you and that person, learn to center both of you individually together. That was really complex, but also very simple at the same time. Learn to center both of you individually together. That's true. And it's Scorpio season, so how are you bound up together? And this is also a time with these conversations going on, how the bindings of relationships are changing. Whether that be your internal masculine and feminine, again, the external masculine and feminine sort of relationships that you're in. The bindings of relationships are getting a review right now, and there may be some new relationships that come through that look like old relationships, and you have a chance to kind of like recreate the pattern. If you're a fate worker, or you work with fate, or you bind fate or crossings, any sort of that work. This is really a time where if you have crossed people in a certain sort of way in previous relationships, like you always meet people like out partying, or like you always met people, like if there's patterns, all right, if there's patterns within how you've met people before, those are also kind of coming to the surface right now, not just for review, but there could be someone new or something new or a new opportunity. Venus is direct, okay? So Jupiter might be retrograde, but Venus is direct. So Jupiter's like, whoa, wait, we gotta hold on, we gotta review this. But Venus is like, I'm going forward. I'm moving forward still. So like, you can look backwards, but we're holding hands and I will lead us into the future. So we're going forwards by looking backwards. So there could be some new things that come in. So if you're ushering in new, then whether it's new with you and your person, you internally, okay, within that feminine masculine relationship, internally beautiful, gorgeous, I love that. And also too, so much work, oh my gosh, there could be new coming through within your environments. Again, Scorpio season is rebirth season. You probably are finding yourself doing some things new or different at this time. So if that's true for you, just remind yourself that there could be new crossings of fate around you when it has to do with people and relationships. And that is a gorgeous, beautiful, lovely, wonderful thing. I think. I feel. I love you, fate, and I love you, change, and I love you, presence. Beautiful. Okay, so that's what's happening with Mercury moving into Sagittarius. And then kind of too, when the moon moves into Sagittarius, we're having more of an emotional review over those things. Again, that's November 4th through the 6th, more of an emotional review for things. And like our heart is gonna let us know how we feel about that relationship sort of dynamic, or things that are happening, the exchanges maybe that are going on or had to go on or were going on, and just kind of everything that I just covered that has to do with Venus and Jupiter. Your heart's gonna let you know November 4th through the 6th, what direction to go, where are you going, how are you getting there, are you bringing the other person with you, how are you bringing them with you, what are the bindings, how do they make you feel. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's supposed to be a lot though. It's supposed to be a lot. Also, some people might get red-handed caught. Some people might get red-handed caught, okay? This is a revealing. This is a revealing. This is not just about how you're feeling. This is a revealing. Mars, with it being in Cancer, and the moon, which rules Cancer, is going to be in Sagittarius. Oh my gosh. There might be some people who are in relationships, or again, the internal masculine, feminine, who might get red-handed caught. This might be a time where those secrets and shadows have nowhere to hide. Okay, so if you have been, that's true. If you've been in and that's been all up in my comments on TikTok recently, interesting. If you have been in a relationship where you're like, are they being faithful? Are they being truthful? Are they being honest? Are they being, give it a week or two. Keep your eye out and give it a week or two, okay? There could be, maybe, if you have secrets, just keep it together. Stay clever, okay? This is, like I said earlier, it's a time to stay witty. This is a time to stay witty. I think I said that earlier. If not, I'm gonna say it. It's a time to stay witty. It's a time to stay on your toes. A lot is changing. A lot of pieces are moving around. So, you know, but that's because a lot is about to ground. The only time stuff moves around is because we need to make room. We clear the table. We have more food coming in. Clear the table. We have another course. Clear the table. There is more for us. Okay, clear the table. Clear the space. Clear it. Clear. We need room because we have more coming in. It's harvest season. Okay, it's also about to be Capricorn season, and Capricorn season in a couple months, but still. In Capricorn season, not everybody gets what they want. So if you're doing the work from now until Capricorn season and then through Capricorn season, oh my gosh, clear the table, clear the room. I cleared the space, bring it through. But if not, then it is what it is. Okay, so that's some bigger picture stuff. Looking at what else with the moon in Sagittarius, this is also going to be, okay, so if we're just looking at the moon in Sagittarius, kind of like regardless of the transits with Venus and Jupiter and all that good stuff that we just went over, moon in Sagittarius is your heart's aim. So if you're looking at goals or you're looking at moving forward, it's the heart's aim. It's also the heart's game. So you might find yourself being a little extra flirty. Oh. So just discern if that's something that you actually want or not, because yeah, moon in Sagittarius that's the game of the heart. The heart is very smart, okay, but it's also the game of the heart. And the moon is going to be a little bit darker. We're not to a first quarter moon yet, so we're not going to be able to see fully the intentions of other people probably within those heart spaces. So just discern for yourself. Again, Scorpio season, a lot of power dynamics of stuff. Yep. November 5th, so during the time that the moon is in Sagittarius, Mars is going to enter Leo. This week is crazy. We're going to start to get like it's like, can I get a break? That's how I feel right now. It's like, can I get a break? Do you realize how much I've been doing? Can I get a break? No. No, don't you realize we're not done yet? We're not going to be done until Pluto moves into Aquarius with this just like get it done, be consistent, go forward. And like, you can't really, it's not that you can't give, it's just like you can't stop. This is a time where we can't stop. You got stuff to get done, then go. You have goals, then go. You have power to earn, then go. It's your time. This is your time. If not, rest. Do what you need to, and rest if you're doing that work too. Take care of yourself, okay? Don't like sacrifice anything that isn't necessary. If you're not getting enough sleep or like not taking care of yourself, like do those things, okay? Love yourself. That's also true. If you feel like you need to, also true. But yeah, Mars enters Leo. Bro, can I get a break? Can I get a break? No. And also, this week is going to show you why we haven't been able to get a break. Because we're about to like break out of. If you feel like you're tired and you haven't been able to stop working and you just haven't been able to stop, okay? You've been in the consistency, go, it's got to get done. Energy, as we've kind of been required to be in. Right now, this week, so when is that? Mars enters Leo on November 5th. The sun is in Scorpio, which will rule over Leo. You want to know why you haven't been able to stop? We probably haven't been able to see it, okay? It's Scorpio. It's Scorpio, which means it's hidden a little bit. Maybe not all of it, but a little bit. Sun in Scorpio has started to reveal some of this, but we have Mars entering into Leo. You want to know why you haven't quit? You want to know something's about to come and sit. Something is about to come and sit. It's about to come and land. It's about to be here. Something. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is for you. Check out your Leo placements. Check out your sun, okay? Because the sun rules Leo. We have the sun in Scorpio right now, but your sun will also be affected by this. That's your truth. That's you. That's your joy space. That's your heart space. This is my truth. This is who I am. This is who I am. You've been truthful. You've been working in your truth. You've been doing what you need to do. And good. Okay, yeah. Then here we go. Mars and Leo bring something new into the show. Leo's about the show. Jazz hands. Leo's about the show. You want to figure out why you haven't been able to stop or to quit? Well, here you go. Here you go. Here's your answer, Mars and Leo. I'm gonna roll my eyes. I feel like it's also something that will come by surprise. It's like not a surprise, but also a surprise. It's like, if you're reading a book, if you had like a bird's eye view or a higher perspective or like, maybe not those. If you're reading a book, you know how sometimes when you're reading storybooks, you're like, oh, I bet this is going to happen next. Oh, I bet that, I wonder if that's going to be the thing. I wonder if that's the plot. The plot, okay, do it for the plot. You didn't even realize you were doing it for the plot. You didn't even realize you were doing it for the plot, but you have been doing it for the plot for a while now, and the plot is about to be plotting. Oh, what's gonna happen? The plot is about to be plotting. Thanks, Mars and Leo. Yeah, the plot, I kind of want to say it again. It's fun to say. The plot is about to be plotting. It's been plotting on you for a while. Not necessarily like a person plotting on you or like, because that reminds me of like plotting on a downfall, but that is not what this is. That's not how I feel about this. That's not the feeling of this either. No. You're about to be the star of the show. Do you know where you're going? Do you know your priorities? Okay. And Mars and Leo is everybody's about to be the star of the show. So prioritizing self comes first. And because of that, there's some things that are about to be received for self, in self, with your joy. The ride of joy. I love you, the ride of joy. It's so good. So Mars and Leo. We also have, when does that happen? it doesn't happen until December, all right? But just remember, I'm going to make a note of it now. We're not going to go too deep into it because we are almost like an hour into this. Okay, we're not going to get too deep into this, but we do have a Mars retrograde that starts in Leo in December, early December. So just remember from when Mars enters Leo, November 5th, into the early week of December, there's about to be receiving, and when Mars goes retrograde, then there's something leaving. When Mars goes retrograde, there's something leaving. So we're receiving now, and because it's Scorpio season, you could bind it up. You want it to stay here, you want it to be here, you want it... Sun's a Scorpio. Leo's ruled by the sun. Okay, you receive something, and you want it to stay? Good. Pluto's in Capricorn right now, too. Bind it. Put it in your system. Get it in your life. You don't want it to stay, though? Okay, we'll keep it at a distance. Don't spend time with it. Discernment, because again, Scorpio is about decisions. So discernment for you, but something's about to come through. Mars and Leo will show you how you have been true. That's true. So good. November 6th to the 7th, we have a moon in Capricorn. And late night on the 7th, the moon is going to be conjunct with Pluto. And I'm so excited because it's Scorpio season. We're at the end of the Pluto and Capricorn ride. I'm so excited for this. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. Moon in Capricorn, very detail oriented. The heart is like, here's the system. Here's the structure. I feel this and 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 this. We gotta be consistent with our emotions. It's a lot of work, all right? We're almost to a first quarter moon too. So like we still don't have the full clarity on where we're going, or maybe like the heart, what it wants. We don't have all that full clarity, but we're starting to get an idea. We're collecting the information, we're collecting the details, okay? And at the end of that transit with the moon on the 7th, late night on the 7th, okay? We are also going to be collecting the power. Here's my heart's power. Well, the vision that I get for this is like, here's the tool that you've been asking for. Not necessarily, if you feel like you've been a fool, that's true. If you feel like you've been a fool, especially with the new moon being in Scorpio and like the workings of power and things like that, if you feel like there's a tool that you need to work the power that you are bringing through, that moon in Capricorn will offer it to you more than likely if you have done the work to earn it, because that's also part of Saturn and Capricorn. However, if you feel like you don't need the tool, then you realize the power of not being a fool. Oh, interesting. So if you're doing something new, receive a tool. Curious. And probably it's going to be applicable in so many different areas. Okay, we have Saturn in Pisces right now, which is literally every single area of our life. Pisces is the accumulation of everything else. So, oh my God, that's a little overwhelming. Don't get overwhelmed. You got it. Oh, or get overwhelmed and just be in it. Sometimes that has to happen too. That's true. Ooh. So if you're a fool, then comes through, that's true. If you're a fool, then comes through the tool, it will be offered to you. Easy. Let it come through easy. Let it come through easy. If you're receiving it, it's for a reason. If you're receiving it, it's for a reason. And in the places where you don't need the tool, okay, figure out the power of not being a fool. Both of them are responsibilities. Both of them offer you a seat of power, and both of them are able to dismantle, climb, rescind from hierarchy. And that's a part of Capricorn also. And with Pluto being in Capricorn and having that, oh my gosh, Pluto being in Capricorn, that's a new air. Oh my goodness, that's a new air. We're starting to bring the new in. There's where the new story can really begin. It's like we've been setting up, again, the plot is plotting, okay, right? The plot, sometimes you read, I'm reading a series like this right now. It took them a whole 2 books, I think, to set up the plot. It's a really long series. The first book, I was like, I really like this. I really think I like this, but there's a lot of people, I don't know. I think I like it. I'm not sure yet though, but I think I like it. And then I got to the second book and I was like, actually, this is a really great story. And I'm really looking forward to this thing that's going to happen. There's this future thing that was going to happen. This future thing, talking about this, they would bring it up every once in a while. Okay, let's focus on what's happening right now. Future thing, focus on what's happening right now. Future thing, focus on what's happening. That's kind of what we've been doing. For some people, this is 6 months. For some people, this is a couple of years. Okay, Saturn entered Pisces when was it? In March of 2023. So it's probably something that you've been doing since then. That's a long time. Or on and off since then, because Pluto was in Aquarius at one point. That's also true. Regardless of that, okay. Hold on. Wait. I need a moment. That's so much. That's so much. The plot has been plotting. Oh, this is so much. That's so much. The plot has been plotting for when did March of 2023? That's almost 2 years. A year and a half, whatever. It's a while. The plot has been plotting for a year and a half, and we're about to figure out why? Bro, dude, are you for real? The plot has been plotting, and we're about to see why the plot has been plotting, and then we're going to be offered the power of why the plot has been plotting. I'm not going to be stressed about it. I'm not going to be stressed about it. But I do want the power of it. I can feel it. I do want the power of it. I'm not going to be stressed about it. The plot has been plotting for a reason. Did you get caught, or were you the plot? That's also what I hear about that. Did you get caught, or were you the plot? You know, because sometimes in books there's like side characters who go on side quests and then they have to get in trouble as like part of the plot. So, did you get caught, or were you the plot? Because also the main characters in books gotta rebel. They gotta break some rules. They gotta do some crazy wild stuff. Otherwise, why the heck would you read the book? Boring. I don't want to read a boring book. Okay? I don't want to read a boring book. Take me on an adventure. That's where I want to go. Take me on the adventure. Let's go. Okay? Let's go. I want to go into the fairylands. I want to read the books. Yes, please. Take me on the adventure. But also, did you get caught, or were you the plot? Probably you were the plot. It's your life. Yeah? Okay, good. Good. Wow, dude. That's crazy. The plot's gonna plot, and then we receive a lot. The plot has been plotting, and we're about to receive everything we had to leave. Oh, wow. Especially if you've been going through death and rebirth over the previous couple of years with that South Node in Scorpio. Dude, we're out of it. Here we are. The plot has been plotting. You were not rotting. The plot has been plotting. Different perspectives also, I feel, on this. And I can feel the new air. I can feel the change of air. I can feel the change of mind. The minds are changing. That also true. Oh my gosh, because we have Mars, it's going to move into Leo in the North Node right now. Dude, and I'm going to share this with you because that's crazy. I was at the store earlier today. It's Halloween. I just remembered. Of course, this is happening on Halloween. What the heck? I was at the store earlier getting my flowers for my birthday. Beautiful, gorgeous, lovely, wonderful. And I got myself some new honey and flowers for Halloween and for a birthday. That's true. Anyways, so I was doing that, and when I was walking back to my car, I looked up in the sky, and the clouds made the image of the North Node. Bro, what? Dude, how? I don't know. But it was there. And I looked up, and I was so happy. I felt like I was floating on air, okay? It's my birthday, of course. I feel pretty good today. But I felt like I was floating. I was walking, I was listening to good music. I was feeling good. I looked up in the air. Oh, that's the North Node. Clock it. Wait a minute. I didn't even realize. And then I looked up again, and I was like, oh, no. That's the North Node. We have the North Node in Aries right now, and Mars rules Aries. Which means that Mars and Leo, we're about to have a North Node that's indirectly ruled by Scorpio. Do you realize the connection of that? Whoa, bro. Because Venus was in Scorpio ruling over the Libra eclipse. Venus was in Scorpio ruling over the Libra eclipse. And we're about to have a North Node. Libra's in the South Node. South Node's in Libra, okay? However you pronounce it. South Node is in Libra. So we just had an eclipse ruled by Venus and Scorpio on October 2nd. And now Mars is going to be indirectly ruled by Scorpio, and the Sun is in Scorpio. And the North Node is about doing the uncomfortable things. It's in Aries. It's also about your head, your mind, Your mind, the power of your mind with that Scorpio influence, the light on the mind, light on the power of the mind. No longer are you blind. That's what this is. No longer are you blind. And also, no longer are you behind. You're not late. Oh, especially if you've been weaving fate or doing your work however you need to. And the North Node is about, like, if you're doing those uncomfortable things and you're like getting out of your comfort zone and you're trying new things and you're following your purpose, it's like the spiritual calling that's in the sky. I can't believe I literally saw the North Node in the sky. That's crazy. I guess if I was walking the other direction, it would have been the South Node, but I was walking in the direction I was walking in, so it was the North Node. Anyways, if you do, it's about the purpose. It's like that thing in the sky that you don't know why you're doing it. That's the North Node. You're doing it, you don't know why you're doing it. This is my purpose and my calling, but I can't explain it to you. I don't have words for it. I haven't ever done it before. I just know it's what I need to be doing. And a lot of the times in our spiritual communities and spiritual spaces, like, people are following the North Node. Purpose, calling. This is my purpose, this is my calling. I don't know what it is yet fully. I can't articulate it fully, but I know that that's what it is. I know a lot of people turn to magic for that. Turn to practice, not just magic, turn to practice for that. Turn to practicing or being in a spiritual space or a spiritual discipline or practice for that. I have this purpose, I have this calling, I have this thing that I want to do with my life, and I don't know how to explain it to people, and I don't know where to get this information from. So let me go to spirituality to receive this information. Let me go to spirituality for this understanding. Let me go to my practice so that I am able to understand. That's a lot about the North Node. And right now with Saturn in Pisces, and we have Neptune in Pisces, it's like the order of our spirituality. And dude, that's crazy. We're about to receive the power of, if you've really been walking in a purpose, especially since Saturn entered Pisces, okay, March of 2023, track back for yourself, check it out. If you've been walking in a purpose since March of 2023, kind of blindly, the North Node asks that you go in blind. We don't know. Anything on your mind too. It's Aries, it rules our head, so anything on your mind, anything you've really been thinking about and walking in at the same time, talking about and walking in at the same time, okay? With that Mars moving into Leo and the Sun in Scorpio, the other rulers, okay, we got Pluto in Capricorn, ruled by a Saturn in Pisces. That's going to be influencing that Scorpio Mars. Oh my gosh. Let me not get too deep into the specifics. That's crazy. And Mars is one of the rulers of Scorpio, so we have a direct reflection there. That's the other part of that too. You're about to understand that purpose. You've been walking in a purpose, March of 2023. You're about to understand. Something's about to land. Something's about to land, and you're going to understand why you've been walking in that purpose, why you've been talking in that purpose, why you've been working the way you have been. It's about to all make sense. Did you get caught, or were you the plot? You were for sure the plot. That's for sure. You were for sure the plot. Maybe you did get caught and you were the plot. Maybe they're both true. Maybe you got in a little bit of trouble. But that's what a main character is supposed to do. You're supposed to get in a little bit of trouble every once in a while. Oh, I'm gonna giggle and laugh about it. That's pretty great. Okay, well, enjoy that. I'm gonna enjoy that. That sounds great. That sounds like a wonderful, 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 wonderful thing to relate to. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's November 6th through the 7th. And then again, late night on the 7th is when that conjunction of Pluto and the moon happens. And then we have, track it back. Where are we going? November 8th through the 9th is our first quarter moon in Aquarius. So we're going to receive, here, the plot's been plotting for a reason. Here's the purpose. Here's the calling. It makes sense now. Here you go. Here's the heart space of it. Moon conjunct Pluto. Here's the heart space of it. And then the moon moves on into Aquarius. What are we going to do with it? This is kind of like our sneak peek preview. Where are we going with this? Everything's revealed. This is why we've been walking. This is why we've been talking. The understanding is going to land. It's going to ground. And the plot has been plotting for a reason. So like what is happening? What has happened? And where have you ended up because of that? Oh my gosh. And like, I feel such a like lightheartedness about this. Like I said earlier, everything is about change. Bring it back. first quarter moon in Aquarius. But the first quarter moon for me, how I work with it is directional. I'll mention this basically every single podcast about what moon we're walking into or that we're in at the moment. For me, first quarter moon is direction. So I'm weaving my intentions on that new moon, and then the first quarter moon, I've already left those intentions. I'm doing new things, but like I'm still going somewhere else. And so it's this kind of like, we hit a point where if there's different roads that we could take, we have a signpost. These are the roads, these are the directions, this is where we're at, this is where we're going, this is what we want, this is how we've been, this is where it is. Directions. And so with Pluto about to move into Aquarius, this is like, we receive all this kind of like really incredible, powerful, big stuff just days before this moon. The first quarter moon in Aquarius is going to let us know, where is it that we really want to go? Where do we want to go with this? How do we want to work in this? This is the power that we're receiving because of everything we've been doing. We've been walking in our purpose and we're rewarded because of it. Where do we go now? Where do we go now? I wonder. It's time to bring wonder in again. I wonder. It's going to be an intense week. It's going to be a really intense week. Oh my gosh. It's going to be a really intense week. May you receive everything you need in love, truth, and free. And thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. And thank you for supporting me in this witch's new year. That's also true. May everything come easily to you that you need on this day, through this week, through these changes, through these transitions. May it be easy. May it be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Make some lemonade if you need to, you know? That's true. Take those L's. Did you get caught? Take those L's, turn them into some lemonade, okay? That means also you could turn L's into lemons. That's pretty cool. Oh, goodness. All right, well, that's it. That's the show. Thanks for sitting with me. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep up your brew. Keep doing what you need to do. We're here. We're in the new year. We're in the new year. I'm so excited. It's going to be such a good year. I'm so excited. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's it. I'll leave it be. Thank you again for supporting me. Oh, so good. I'm so grateful for the life that I live, and I'm so grateful to be able to do what I do for my work. And thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.